Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be learning how to cut this beautiful build-up neckline that is trending. So if it's something you would love to learn, do well to watch to the end of the video, like, share and subscribe. And if you are just coming across my video for the very first time, do well to be part of the family by subscribing. So let's get right into it. So the first thing is to take our vertical measurement, and from the top of the paper here I'm going to come down by 3 inches before we start. So I'm going to mark the 3 inches all the way across to get a straight line. I will extend this point across. So this line now is our starting point. This is where we are going to be taking all of our vertical measurement from. So I'm going to come down from that line to mark my bust point, which is 9.5 inches. I'm going to mark that all the way across to have a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and extend the line across this way. Then from the starting line again, I'm going to be coming down to mark my under bust, and from my shoulder to my under bust is 12 inches. I'm going to mark that all the way to have a straight line across. I'll go ahead and extend the point this way. Then from the starting line again, which is my shoulder line, I'm going to come down to mark my waist point. My shoulder to my waist point in front is 15 inches. I'll mark that all the way and I'll extend the line across. So from the top of the paper again, from the starting line, I'll come down to mark the length of my blouse. So I'll be marking 21 inches as the length, and I'll extend the line across. It depends on how long or short you want yours to be, so it all depends on what you want at this point. So I'll go ahead and label my lines appropriately. This is my full length, my waistline, my under bust line, and my bust line. So I'm going to come to the starting line here, divide my shoulder by 2, which is 7.5. I'm going to mark the 7.5 here. At that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll come here to mark my neck width of 3 inches. I'll connect from the shoulder slope all the way to the neck width this way. The next thing I'm going to do is to mark my arm length. And how to get your arm length: divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches. In my case I got 7, and I'm going to extend that point across this way. So this line now become our chest line. To have a straight line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurements here on the chest line. Then I'm going to connect from the shoulder slope all the way to the point we just marked on the chest line. So before we go further, we're going to work on the neck. So I'm going to come to the starting line here, and I'm going to go up by 1.5 inches from the neck width. If your neck is long, you can use 2 inches. Then I'm going to make sure that I have the 3 inches here to have a perfect line. So I'll connect from the neck width to that point, and then from here I'm going to go up also by 1.5 inches, so that I'll just create like a square here, so that we'll know where our measurement is stopping, right? So I'm going to come here and go in by half an inch from this line, go in by half an inch. Then on the shoulder slants, I'm going to go out by half an inch here as well. Then I'm going to connect these 2 points together with my curve road this way. You see what I did there? So on the starting line, I'm going to come in by half an inch here, and I'll connect from here to the half an inch, this point like this. And then I'm going to determine how deep I want my neck to be. So it depends on what you want. You can decide to take it all the way to the chest line, or before the chest line to the bust line. Anywhere you want your neck depth to stop, just take it there. And this is what we have. So the next thing is to impute our measurements. Since we are done with the neck, I'm going to come here to mark the midpoint of this line by dividing it into 2 equal halves. At that point, I'll come in by half an inch. I'll come here to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Then I'll connect my point together to get my armhole like this. So the next thing, we are going to mark our dart. So to get your dart, you're going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7, divided by 2 is 3.5. I'll mark it on the bust line, on the under bust line, on the waistline, and also on the full length. And I'm going to connect the point with a straight line all the way down this way. So I'm going to come to the under bust line, and I'm going to be taking my dart there. I'm going to mark half an inch on the center front, but if you're a plus size, you can mark 1 inch or 1.5 on the center front, while on the side front you can mark 2 inches. But I mark half inch on the center front, and 1 inch on the other side. I did the same thing on the waistline. and I'll connect the 2 points together with a straight line this way. So I'm going to come up from the full length. I'm going to come up here by 2 inches. I'll connect my dart all the way to that point. So I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the bust line, and I'll also take my dart, or I'll just make a curve here like so. So this is what we have. So we are going to take this line all the way to the midpoint of our armhole with our curve rule. So you see how I place my curve rule, and I'll take that point all the way to the midpoint of my armhole, and you can see that our bust is coming out already. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of this line to tighten up this place, and then I'll connect it back to the initial line with my curve rule this way. You can see what we have here. So this 1 inch we took for that here, I'm going to replace it on this other line here. Make sure you place it so you don't have any shortage. I will extend the line to the 1 inch this way. Then the 1 inch also, I'm going to replace it on the chest line, and I'm going to reconnect my armhole like so. The next thing is to impute our round body measurement. We've already marked our bust measurement. I'm going to come to the under bust line, divide my under bust by 4. I'm going to mark it here. Then the inches we took for our dart, I'm going to replace it here, and then add my sewing allowance. I'll also add my sewing allowance on the chest line. I'll come to the waistline, divide my waist measurement by 4. Then what we took for our dart, I'm going to replace it and then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the full length, and I'm going to divide my hip measurement on the hip line or on the full length, and then add my sewing allowance as well. I'll go ahead and connect my markings together. So you see what we have here. I'll just outline my line so it's more visible for us to see. So I'm going to come up here and mark my bust dart, and this is the difference you have from your shoulder to your waist in front and back. Mine is 1.5 inches, and I came down from the bust line and then connect the point to the bust line this way. So we're going to cut out this part we don't need. So I'll come to the side seam here, and I'll go up by 2.5 inches from here to give it a nice curve. I'll connect the line back into connect the point back into the line this way. So this is all for the front pattern. You can see how simple it is to actually draft out this a build-up neckline. Make sure you close down your darts before cutting so that you can adjust your lines if you have any distorted line. So this is the front pattern. We have it here. We are going to keep this aside. So for the back, I've already gone ahead to rule out my necessary lines, my bust line, under bust, my zipper allowance, and I also came down by 3 inches just the way we did on the front pattern. So I'm going to come here to mark my shoulder measurement. I'll come down by 1.5 inches. I'll come here to mark my neck width of 3 inches just the way we did on the back front pattern. I'll connect my shoulder slant this way. Then I'm going to come here to mark my neck also. I'll come up by 1.5 inches just the way we did on the front pattern. I will make sure that I have the 3 inches width for the neck here to have a perfect line. So I'll come up by 1.5 inches here to just get a straight line to meet that point. So I'll connect the line also here like this so that we'll have a perfect square, and then I'll go in by 1/2 inch here, and then come out by 1/2 inch here just the way we did on the front pattern, and I'll connect with my curve rule. We are practically repeating what we did on the front pattern. So I'm going to come down by 1/2 inch here, then I'll connect from here to this point with my curve rule. See what I did there? And this is basically it for the back. I'll go ahead and come down to mark my arm length just the way we did for the front pattern and extend the line across. So I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement here to get a straight line, and I'll connect from the shoulder slant all the way to the point we just marked on the chest line. So I'm going to divide this line here into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint, and then at that point I'll go in by 1/2 inch. I'll come to the chest line, mark my bust circumference divided by 4, I'll go ahead and connect my point to get my armhole like so. So I'm going to come here to mark my dart. So divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. I'll mark it on the chest line, on the bust line, on the waistline, and also on the full length. Then I'll connect the points together with a straight line. We are practically repeating what we did on the front pattern at this point. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of our dart leg like this. I'll come up from the full length by 2 inches. Then I'll connect my dart to it. And then I'm going to come down from the chest line by 1 inch and connect my dart up as well. So this is what we have. So if you want to have like a princess dart at the back also, you just extend this line to the midpoint of your armhole, and that is it. I'm just going to leave the back pattern this way. We'll make use of this dart only. I'll go ahead and impute my round body measurement. I'll add my sewing allowance. We already marked our bust measurement. I'll come to the waistline, mark my waist measurement, replace the dart, and then add my sewing allowance. I'll come to the full length and chalk down my hip measurement and add my sewing allowance. I'll go ahead and connect my markings together. So this is what we have for the back. I'm going to come up here by 2.5 inches to give it a nice curve, just the way we did for the front. I'll connect that point back into the line this way. So I'm going to come to the waistline at the zipper allowance, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. This is to help us eliminate this bulginess we usually have at the back of our clothes after sewing. So make sure to do this to prevent that bulginess around the waist. We're going to cut out this area we don't need out, and this is basically it for the back pattern. I'll go ahead and cut the pattern paper out. I will extend this line to the zipper allowance this way, the neck to the zipper allowance, and then I'll cut. So this is what we have for the back. So if you have watched to this point and you have not yet subscribed, please do wait to hit on the subscribe button. Subscription is totally free. Like, share. If you have any question, anything you are not clear about, do wait to leave it in the comment section, and I will respond. I will reply to your questions. I want to thank my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for always coming back to watch my video. I really appreciate, and thank you so much. I will see you in the next video.